not my forte here, as I'm joining you from our hotel here in Austin, a stone's throw away from Q2 Stadium, where the United States took on Trinidad Tobago in the first leg of their Nations League playoff for the Nations League semifinals and the spot in the Copa America. So this is an important game, as we talked about in the last video, and what a night. And before we get into the details, and we had to suffer through a first half there where it just wasn't clicking for the U.S. We talked about the players that weren't available and the players that haven't been seeing regular playing time for their clubs, and it showed. There was no doubt about it. I'm filming this off my phone. I may not be completely level. I doubt I am, but bear with me here, because we wanted to get something out while the thoughts were fresh. But I did want to thank Brett Oppenheim, who many of you will know from Selling Sunset, big-time real estate guy who does some incredible content too, who selected me and many other great content providers on YouTube, like Tactical Manager and 11 Yanks. We're sitting here having a cup of coffee while I do this. Brought us in here for U.S. Soccer so that we could share this moment. And, this is important work, because those guys get so many eyeballs. I have a lot of respect for all the content creators out there. Give and Go, those two guys who are out here. They have a big audience, and walking around the stadium, you can tell. And the younger demographic gravitates towards them. So I think this was smart that U.S. Soccer, through Brett Oppenheim, invited us. I appreciate it. They got me this wonderful shirt. I don't know if you can see the back. It's very nice. Got this wonderful scarf, which I know you're going to say, where's Waldo? But man, this scarf is plush. I will cherish it. A lot of goodies. Satin sweet. Had a wonderful time. Doesn't mean I'm going to take the gloves off here with regards to talking about U.S. Soccer. Here on the Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG podcast, where all podcasts are available. We have one up previewing this game. We're talking with Ramon Chavez about Mexico, who are playing on Friday night. We talk about Phoenix Rising as well, and their big game that is coming up here shortly. And we also have a new podcast coming out recapping this. I believe Filippo's going to join me. He said he will, so we'll get a new podcast out here from Austin about the evening we had. It was very exciting. So we have a lot to get to, but we're talking about USA Trinidad and Tobago, a rematch of the team that knocked our World Cup dreams out in 2017. You know that. I don't need to drudge that up, but it was certainly there, and Kuva came up a couple times during this game. It was getting very nerve-wracking as we saw all the action here in Q2 Stadium, which is an incredible venue for all of this. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, look at that place. Sorry, I was checking my camera, making sure everything was A-okay. Here was the starting 11, and we knew it was going to be a unique circumstance. Some guys getting a run that normally would not. In this case, a great opportunity for Kevin Paredes, Malik Tillman also in there, guys playing in different positions. Remember, no Tyler Adams, no Christian Pulisic, no Tim Weah, so the midfield looked a little different. It really was like a 4-2-3-1. And we had Gio Reyna kind of in the middle a lot. He drifted on side, but he played a lot in the middle in a more traditional role that we could expect him. But there was the lineup: Matt Turner, Jedi Robinson, Tim Ream, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Serginho Dest. I'm probably not talking a lot about Cameron Carter-Vickers, but he was rock solid, and you wonder the pecking order, which is something we talked about defensively, where it stands with Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Mark McKenzie, Austin Trusty, and on and on. Who is going to be the select duo is 2024 looming. And getting my Trinidad and Tobago means that they will be busy in March with the Nation League semifinals in Dallas-Fort Worth and at the Copa America next summer in June. So that was the back four. Weston McKennie, Yunus Musa, inverted a little bit there, right behind Reyna, Tillman, Paredes, and Fuller and Balogun. We'll try and talk about some of these guys here over the next few minutes to gauge what they were able to do. But it was a grind in that first half, and the pace wasn't there. And the U.S. were slowing things down. I think Gio Reyna in that first half in particular, who scored a great goal there. The goals all happened late. It was scoreless into the 82nd minute and then the U.S. scored 3 against a Trinidad and Tobago team that was playing a man down and was absolutely spent. They were able to find the breakthrough. So that's the good news. They're through. They're not going to lose. They're not going to lose to Trinidad and Tobago, and certainly not going to lose by more than 1 goal if something like that was going to happen. This Trinidad and Tobago team was brave. They were very physical. I mean, there were some big dudes out there. And that was by design, and it worked because they pushed around the U.S. team. The game plan was working. I mean, they looked like an NFL team out there. Big, tall, wide. There were some big dudes. So the physical nature, they're out of their depths. It's great that they made it here. I mean, they had some nice wins in qualifying for this. So Trinidad and Tobago moving in the right direction. But even against a shorthanded U.S. team, this was always too big of an ask. But there they were. I was getting nervous. We were in the suite with all the guys, and everyone's looking at each other like, what the heck's going on? It was uncomfortable. So the play in the first half was just slow. There was no urgency, and it fell into Trinidad and Tobago's hands. They were playing a low block. They were parking the bus. They had the red card in the 37th minute, and at that point they said, we're not going to attack. Not that they were. So at that point, playing a man down almost fell into Trinidad and Tobago's hands. It was almost an advantage for a long stretch there before they just ran out of gas. But I think Gio Reyna showed that he hasn't played a lot. It's just the ball would comes and he stops, and I go, I don't think that's what we should do. We got to be at pace. Certainly in a game like this, pace, 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 where we have to break down a low block, which we struggled doing in the first half. And the second half was better. Even right from the beginning, you could see that they were going to make a breakthrough. At the end, it was, what was it? It was like 26 shots, 8 on target, 76% possession. TNT had 1 shot total, nothing on target. They were never threatening to score. Matt Turner was a spectator by and large. So that was a challenge, certainly, but I mean, they were never at risk of losing this game. But they were at risk of maybe ending it scoreless. And then all of us on Monday, November 20th, in the second game in Port of Spain, just very uncomfortable. Bad memories coming back. So those 3 goals, we've got to give the U.S. credit. They were able to score them and take away all the anguish. I want to talk about Kevin Paredes, surprise starter. Being at the game, you got to see a few things. And I saw something which I didn't really like. Paredes was there, and every coach, every assistant coach, every teammate came up to him and said, hey man, congrats, good, that's good. He doesn't need that. He knows what's at stake. He knows this is a huge opportunity. But I saw every coach and every teammate kind of put his hand on his back. Let him be. He knows what is happening here. So give him a little room to breathe. He struggled. Malik Tillman struggled. So some of the newer faces that are there because of the injuries didn't fill the void. And that's a bigger picture that I think the U.S. has to work on when it comes to developing depth. When you have injuries, and there's going to be injuries, who is going to fill that void? We didn't get an answer to that. We did get an answer. We don't have that. We don't have the depth. We might, but we have to flesh it out. And those guys, Paredes is a mercurial talent. And watching him run, you're like, he's good. He just needs reps. But who else? They only used 2 subs. So they kept it pretty close to the vest here with regards to 13 players. You know, even in a game where they were going to tire these guys out, 2 guys came off the bench, and that was that. So Paredes, to be expected. Reyna, good as the game wore on, but still a little bit too slow for my liking, but I'll forgive him the benefit of the doubt because he hasn't played a lot. Flo Balogun. I came into the stadium thinking that this was going to be his night. He was going to score. He didn't score, and he made bad runs. I worry a little bit because I want to see that sharpness, and it hasn't come close to our expectations when we heard that Balogun was going to arrive. So that's, there's 4 or 5 things I look here and I'm like, I get nervous in the bigger picture when they face a better opponent than Trinidad and Tobago, which they'll see in the Nations League, which they'll see in Copa America, and moving forward. The midfield was industrious. They were able to make it work. Weston McKennie, in the second half, they busted Trinidad and Tobago open. At that point, Trinidad Tobago had 9 players playing in just a 20-yard brick. They were like, bang, compact, and they invited the U.S. to come out wide. Anthony Robinson was excellent, and he scored the second goal, had some good crosses. Serginho Dest had some nice moments, but all in all, he was getting pushed around a lot by the TNT defense, so I wouldn't give Serginho Dest a high score. You don't give anyone a really high score of what we were able to see here, but again, a good response. But if there's I'd say maybe Anthony Robinson. I like Cameron Carter-Vickers, and no one else really beyond that. It was hard work across the board for the U.S. to find some success there. They figured it out, and I'll give them credit because we were thinking the worst there for a while. So the subs were in the 66th minute. Brendan Aronson came in for Kevin Paredes. Ricardo Pepi came in for Tillman. The subs were a positive. Brendan Aronson should have scored, took some good shots, missed them wide, found space there, provided a pop off the bench, which I think you would expect in a game like this because TNT were tired. Ricardo Pepi scored the goal in the 82nd minute, had a chance there. He is a guy who hasn't played a lot, so you're worried, but he looked fresh and ready for the challenge. After the game, Pepi was on the sideline. There was a huge contingent. And remember, we're in Austin. He's from El Paso. Huge contingent of fans that came over to seek an autograph of him 30, 40 minutes later. So subs were good, but only 2 subs. I thought maybe we'd see Alejandro Zendejas. I thought maybe we'd see Paxton Aronson. There was a moment where Gio Reyna took a knock, was limping around for a few minutes. Greg Berhalter came over, said, "Hey, are you okay?" And he continued. He would eventually score, so hopefully nothing too serious there. And now maybe, I think Gio Reyna starts the next game, but we'll have to see if he is going to be affected at all by this, especially traveling to Port of Spain. Who's going to step up? You need the depth to show itself here. This is a team that you're outmatched at every position, and collectively, individually, you should win this game, 2-3 goals, just take care of business there. But as I said in past videos, there are injuries for the U.S. It's good that they're happening now, and they're not happening in 2024. They might, but you hope it fleshes out here. But they are always there. The thing is, we have to assume there will be injuries. We've got to make sure we have options at every position. I just don't see it there. McKennie Moose in those deeper positions, it's not quite right. You would like to see it more that traditional 6 with Tyler Adams, and then we move on from there. It's a win, and it was a wonderful night. I want to thank U.S. Soccer again. I want to thank Brett Oppenheim. I want to thank all our YouTube creators that were great company tonight, had a great time. They're good guys. They're really good guys, and I hope we can do this again. And I'm happy it wasn't scoreless because I didn't want to finish the game at the very end where we felt like we were it was Filippo's fault, really, at the end.
I was allowed to come here for the recording.
Quality dude right here. Quality. Now the likes will start coming. What'd you think of it? Well, he's going to be on the pod. I'm going to drag him on the pod tomorrow.
I thought it was a 3-0, very similar to like Uzbekistan. Like we got the 3-0, but it didn't feel that way. But I'll say one thing. Max is a lot more fun in person. Not on Twitter, though. Not on Twitter.
He took good care of me, man. He was not on Twitter. We go at it, but it's healthy and friendly. Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG here on YouTube, the library. Check out the Soccer OG podcast. Put Filippo on it. He's going to make sure you have it on. And we'll be back here for the November 20th game. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Have a great holiday week. We'll talk to you very soon.